This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar.
Not to be a stereotype or anything, but I am one of those go, go, go girls. So I have so much stuff that's always on my plate. And I always try to grab something on the go after the gym. And it's always so hard to find something that's actually going to be good tasting and good for you, right? Because every time you grab a protein bar that looks like it's going to be okay, you flip it around and you start to read the ingredient list, and it's all sugar, and it's all stuff that you can't even pronounce. All I want is something good to eat. IQ Bar is the better for you plant-based protein snack made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash. IQ Bar has low sugar, low carbs, and it's actually really good. Optimize your mind and body with IQ Bar's clean, functional products like protein bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Go to IQBar.com today and enter promo code BRAINIQ to get an exclusive offer just for our listeners. 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. That's IQBAR.com, promo code BRAINIQ. IQBar.com, code BRAINIQ.
Hello to everybody who dances like no one's watching. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi everybody, Chris Gethard here. I know not everyone loves an intro. I didn't time this one exactly, but I think if you skip about 8 or 9 minutes ahead, you'll get to the beginning of the call. Do want to put out that there is a content warning in the intro. There's talk of sexual assault in this episode, so be mindful of that. Hi everybody, Chris Gethard here. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous. Really means the world to me that you listen, that you support the show. I'm feeling good about the show. I'm feeling good about what this show is, and I'm so happy to be here talking to you. Thanks for supporting. If you want to support, there's 2 really central ways you can do it. The first is just tell people we're out here. We are an independent show now. Word of mouth is the greatest form of advertising. If there's episodes you like, go ahead and drop that link to people directly. Get them hooked. Get them to become part of this movement. We got a nice thing going here. Let's keep it going. The other thing you can do, of course, is sign up at beautifulanonymous.com. You get extra time with each caller. If you're at that upper tier level, you also get follow-up calls with past callers. You get a phone number once in a while that only people at that tier get. And both tiers, you get your episodes ad-free, which I know a lot of people really love. So that is by far the best way you can support the show. If you got a few extra bucks a month, we would love your support. Thank you so much. Speaking of support, wanted to let everybody know I've currently got tickets on sale for stand-up shows in New Jersey on June 19th. That one's almost sold out. And then July 18th up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So to the Boston area, I got 2 shows at the Comedy Studio. punchup.live/Chris Gethard for both of those. I think if you go to chrisgeth.com, it just redirects there. That's a much easier thing to remember. I'm going to double check if that's true. It is true, everybody. You can go get tickets to those shows at chrisgeth.com. Again, the Jersey one's just about sold out. The Boston ones are going to be so fun. I hope everybody comes on out for some comedy. Thank you indeed. I need to put a warning on this episode, and you're going to listen to most of it and go, wait, why? Because a lot of it is about this caller's career, which is an area that's very cool. I feel some connection with through the arts. I think comedy and dance have some commonalities. My wife also comes from the world of dance, so there's a lot to discuss. And a lot of what we discuss is that, the good and the bad, the intensity, the beauty, the all-access nature of it. You will hear, though, just a content warning for some not overzealous, not overly graphic, but pretty blunt descriptions of sexual assault, which is sadly such a factor for people all over this world. It's an experience some people have, and this one makes my heart bleed a little bit. But I also do want to put out there, just for the people listening, first of all, I hope this emboldens some people to take control of their own stories, to hear what this caller went through, how she's handling it, how we talk a little bit about healthy ways to look for revenge, honestly. You'll hear about that. But I also want to point out for anybody who listens to this podcast long term, this is something that I will say about conversation, which I've had to learn how to get better and better at over the years in the course of hosting this show, is trust is earned. Trust is earned through listening quite often. And I think sometimes in life, we think of listening as a thing that only happens with our ears, but it happens with your ability to quiet down, to sense how to provide safety. Listening happens through connection, through compassion, through empathy. There's all sorts of levels to this idea of hearing someone and seeing someone that provides a sense of comfort. So I do not take it lightly that this caller needed to feel out the comfort level, because there was certainly enough to talk about just focusing on career and dance that we could have filled an hour. So the fact that along the way we take a pretty severe turn towards something else that's raw and real and heartbreaking, I don't take it lightly. I thank the caller for the trust put in me and in this community. I think putting this story out there will do a world of good. But I also just want to say, for anybody who's listening beyond entertainment, because sometimes I think with this show, I think there's a lot of podcasts you can listen to where people talk to each other and it's very, very entertaining. And some of them are comedic and some of them are fictional and some of them are celebrities and they have star power and all this stuff we don't do around here at Beautiful Anonymous. But I think what we do have are a lot of people who have been passionate about this thing for 10 years, who constantly recommit to the idea that connecting with other people is part of our shared humanity. It's a skill. It's something that you've had to watch me learn to be better at and still drop the ball many times at along the way. Listen, choose to care, understand that you can extend a sense of comfort, a sense of safety to other people. And that even though we're living in this fast-paced, adrenaline rush, no attention span world, sometimes being a person who can take a deep breath and hear someone allows them to say it. Now, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back too hard. I applaud this caller for the honesty and for the bravery. And I also want to put it out there for anybody else. Let's all, as a community, remember the value of being the types of people that will listen for 40 minutes because that 20 is vital. And some of that is about earning it. Thank you all for teaching me how to slow down, how to open those doors more and more throughout my life. It's part of why these past 10 years of Beautiful Anonymous have changed me so much. Okay, now that you're all intrigued and maybe even a bit baffled, enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I am, I guess, sort of coming off of I wouldn't say necessarily a high, but like a very good feeling over the weekend. And then now kind of pushing through the end of the semester. I teach at a community college and I'm getting through all of my grading. But yeah, this weekend's great. I had a show. I had my newest choreographic work premiere.
Oh, you're a choreographer?
Yeah. I was a ballet dancer for majority of my life. And then post-college, after getting my BFA, I did more freelance work went more the contemporary route, and eventually went to get my master's of fine arts in choreography. So trying to make that happen. It's a very slow process, but yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
You were a professional ballet dancer?
A little bit. I did more freelance work in terms of ballet, but I trained very rigorously from, when did I start more pre-professional training? I guess I started going to my first summer intensives, which are just like they sound, summer camps that are literally intense dancing. Like you dance all day long, ballet technique class, point technique class. Sometimes you'll have jazz and modern. But from 9 in the morning up until late in the afternoon. So I started doing that when I was 12, and I went away every summer. My parents were really generous in foregoing doing any sort of vacations over the summer and helping me with my training. And then my freshman year of high school, I went to a Russian ballet boarding school in Washington, D.C., which was the most intense year of my training for sure.
Wait, did you say you went to a Russian school?
Yeah. It's it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
They take ballet seriously from everything I've heard.
Oh, yes, very much so. This is crazy. One of the rules was if we were walking in the hallways of the school and we saw a teacher, if you were a girl, you had to curtsy, and if you were a boy, you had to bow. Literally stop what you were doing, curtsy, and then you could go on your way. Very, very formal, very strict, borderline abusive training with the way that they talk to people. She was the director of the school, but I had a conversation with her at one point. She had her translator say to me that I would never be a ballet dancer because my neck was too short.
You got that short neck. That almost held you back.
Yeah.
Short neck.
Yeah, exactly. Short neck. I am pretty short in general. I'm barely 5'2", and definitely more of a gymnast build. It's not always the greatest for ballet. But yeah, that was a pretty intense year. I can't think of one, at least of the girls dancers of the school, that didn't have some sort of eating disorder. This was in 2006, 2007. So ballet still hasn't changed that much, but it's definitely in a different place than it was back then. But yeah, I got so stressed that by April, when we had our ballet exams, I got shingles. So got shingles at 15.
Oh, that's horrible. I'm so sorry you went through that.
Yeah, it sucked. It was during spring break too. But yeah, that year was particularly stressful. My dad was going through treatment for cancer. He was having brain surgeries, and my parents wouldn't tell me until afterwards that, oh yeah, he's fine. He just came out of, however many hours of surgery.
So you're getting borderline abused by stern Russian ballet teachers, and you have no idea that back in the States there's these surgeries happening.
Yeah. I mean, I was still in the States. I was in DC, but I am from, I don't mind saying, I'm from Texas, so quite a ways away. But yeah, it was definitely an intense year that for a while I very much regretted doing, because it ended up being the last year of my dad's life.
Wow.
He Yeah, he had cancer for 18 years, so before I was born. Um, and it was kind of one of those things that he knew it was going to get him pretty young. So he lived his life to the fullest, and definitely tried to be the best dad he could be. Like, I only have positive memories of him, except for the rare occasion of when I acted up or when he was on certain medications that altered his mood. But yeah, I used to say that I had more of a dad in 15 years than most people have in a lifetime. So.
Wow. Now, my wife was a dancer.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, she wound up doing more sort of experimental, modern, and aerials, which is like a whole world unto
Yeah.
itself. But one thing I know about dancers is I think it has a perception of a very highbrow art and lifestyle, and probably, like some of the arts that are highbrow viewed as the domain of the wealthy, both in who's participating on stage and buying tickets to watch off stage.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I know from being married to a dancer is there's a brutality to dance that you don't have to be too close to it to start to realize people's careers. If your career lasts 10 years, you have somehow escaped catastrophic injuries. Most of the people I know from the dance world, my wife's friends, retire literally because they have herniated discs, broken backs, blown out ACLs, lifelong physical problems from a career in dance that sometimes only lasts 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have had, trying to think of when it started. It started when I was fairly young. I think one of the things that made it worse was that year of Russian training. But I have chronic hip issues. I remember as a student, we would try and increase our turnout. So imagine a ballet bar, and you have you would lay down and slide underneath the bar and put your legs in like a butterfly position or like a split position. Then one of your friends would stand on top of your legs to push them down into the floor.
So just trying to make your body do things it's not supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. And one wrong move can do all sorts of damage. So mine, I have like little tears in my hips essentially. And I've also had a lot of chronic neck issues. I don't remember exactly what I was doing. This was in college, but it was during a residency with a very famous ballerina. She's now director of a major company in the U.S., but she was there setting a work. And during that, I got injured, hurt my neck, and she came up to me and said, all right, here's what you need to do. You need to see an acupuncturist, and they have to be Chinese. And I'm just looking up at her like, you are one of the most famous ballet dancers in the world, nodding my head like, of course, let me find a place. And the next day I drove down to a Chinese acupuncturist, and honestly, like, it helped quite a bit.
Can I tell you, my wife in New York's Chinatown, there's an acupuncturist that she went to routinely when we lived in the city, and who all her dance friends went, and he was from China. And it was a combination of acupuncture and him. I remember constantly trying to get her to eat pills and her having to say, no, I asked you once, there's chicken in these pills and I'm vegetarian. So I think this is probably pretty widespread in dance culture of a strong kinship between dance and Chinese acupuncture.
Yeah. That's funny. When I lived in New York, when I was 18 and 19, I used to always go to those little acupressure places for foot massages because they were like $1 a minute back then. But yeah, definitely in the dance community, any sort of body treatment that you can get that might work even in the slightest, like we've done it, we've tried it. Because I feel like physical therapy can only do so much. There's
also, at least in New York, I'm aware, there is a whole circuit of physical therapists who are ex-dancers who only work with other current and ex-dancers. And there's a whole medical industry involving getting dancers to be able to keep their careers going or recovering from their careers, populated by ex-dancers who understand. People would be shocked to understand how widespread this is. And I imagine any city that has dance companies of a certain stature has a whole cottage industry of ex-dancers helping those dancers through this lifestyle. It is not easy. There's, like I said, there's a brutality to it.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely are a bunch of masochists. Like it's all about, at least with the classical forms, it's about getting as close to perfection as possible, no matter what it takes. And that sort of mentality, if your body doesn't fall apart first, your mental state will fall apart.
So you've seen it, you've been around it, either yourself or other people where you go, oh, this person's starting to get towards the end of their career because they're mentally breaking in a way they won't come back from.
Oh, for sure. Definitely had friends in that boat. And sometimes injuries and mental health co-occurring.
Of course.
The injury itself causing depression because, that's your career. And when you're not on stage, it's like you lose who you are, because dance is one of those careers that it is everything. Like you are a dancer first and foremost. You can't separate your work life from your personal life because it's been with you since you could walk.
I have to imagine as well that if you're somebody who reaches a certain stature and can be performing with certain companies or in certain cities, that your entire life has been spent attaining a level of physical mastery that let's say you blow out your MCL, that even if 99.5% of the public would never be able to see a difference in your dance, your body feels off, and that's an unbearable reality to face.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I ended up retiring, I guess, or quitting early. I stopped dancing when I was 28. I started developing a chronic illness, and it was affecting my energy levels and affecting my joints and muscles. And suddenly I couldn't lift my leg anymore. I couldn't balance. I was getting very dizzy in the studio. Like if it was very bright lights and white walls and white floors, it gave me vertigo. So suddenly, like having everything change from being energetic and always pushing through the pain no matter what, and feeling like I was getting stronger. Like I felt like my career was starting to pick up because I was dancing a little bit more. And then it all kind of came crashing down very, very quickly. Yeah, and it definitely affected my mental state of like, well, this is what my life has been dedicated to. Is there anything else? It didn't feel like it at the time, for sure.
You're still a choreographer, and I'm sure you've thought about this,
yeah.
But hearing stories like this, I am left to wonder, and dance is a beautiful art form, and it's incredible. I'm not besmirching that, but when you hear that it's an entire industry, let's say all the stuff, there is the art form and then there is the industry, right? And the industry that surrounds it giving teenagers eating disorders, asking teenagers to go and slide under a bar and step on each other's hip joints to try to widen them out in a way that's not natural. And then this leads to careers where an industry can have your career come crashing down in your mid-20s. And even if physically you hold up, the mental pressure is such that it's widely known in the dance community that you also have to watch out for people cracking in a mental health sense. I'm glad to hear that things have changed and you've denoted it, but it's hard to not hear all these stories and wonder, like, why are we allowing this to happen? Like, why are we allowing this to happen?
Yeah, once things started to come crashing down, and a little bit once I got out of college, my brain really shifted in that way of, why am I doing this? Like, why am I essentially like killing myself to, especially with classical ballet, but to perform a fairy tale on stage that, I'd only performed in more smaller venues and not like a major company. And I'm only showcasing this to so many people, and usually it's people that can afford tickets. Like, what am I contributing to the world? And so I really started to shift away from classical ballet and go this more contemporary route and try and figure out, okay, how can I make movement that is going to, I guess, contribute to society or make change in some way, or at least like affect people in a meaningful way, and truly be like a reflection of the times rather than keeping with this traditional viewpoint that can be like very stubborn and still practice like really outdated and offensive stereotypes and tropes. Like in Russia, they still very frequently do blackface and yellowface, and have no problem with continuing doing that, despite people saying, like, obviously this is not okay. It's a problem. And like, if you look at the history of it, like clearly like why it's a problem, but, oh no, we're just doing it as a form of respect. Like, I just argued with someone on the internet about this yesterday, actually.
There have to be some very intense dance-focused corners of the internet. Have to be.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, this is just like an Instagram comment section, but people will go after each other over just like, I don't know, at some point I just had to walk away and be like, you know what? There are more important things happening in the world right now. And this is one of those reasons why I've kind of distanced myself from classical ballet. And although I do love the history of it, and I love teaching the history of it, I teach at a community college as well. And my dance appreciation classes are some of my favorite classes to teach, because I can just go full-blown nerd about history of dance in general, but history of concert dance forms, meaning ballet, modern, jazz, tap.
I was just listening to a podcast. I want to remember what podcast it was and give them credit, but it was really great. And it was like a breakdown of the Alvin Ailey Cry Girls.
Oh.
Are you aware of this?
No.
That Alvin Ailey, the famous, very famous choreographer.
Yeah.
That he has a piece called Cry. And
yes, I'm familiar with that.
And that since I think it was This Is Love, the great Phoebe Judge.
Okay.
That he created this piece, Cry. There has always been, which I believe is a ballet piece, or maybe it's a modern piece, I'm not sure. But it's a really intense dance piece aimed to capture the level of sacrifice made by Black women historically. And that since this piece's creation, that there's always been at least one dancer trained start to finish up to a level of his standards, even though he's passed away, and that generally
Mm-hmm.
there's not more, generally there's only one or two people on the planet at any given time that can perform the entire piece start to finish. There's other people who are working on individual chunks of it. So hearing that, I'm like, man, the nerdy side of dance of, oh wow, you created an iconic piece of choreography, and in
Mm-hmm.
this in the same way that you keep a fire going or you keep passing on a sourdough starter, that the dance itself has always had someone who can do it on planet Earth since its inception, but sometimes only
Mm-hmm.
one person on planet Earth. I'm like, that's the type of nerdy nonsense that I get
Yes.
into in a really big way when it comes
That's
to dance.
awesome.
Now, how do you balance this sort of like nerdy love and respect for the history of dance with, I don't want to say, you know, I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but there's some level of, you mentioned that you got out of college and went, what is this and why am I participating in it? Now you're teaching other styles of dance where it sounds like you teach the history of all the intense stuff, but it sounds like you also don't
Mm-hmm.
have any intention of ever asking a student to go into it as intensely as you once did.
Yep.
Is there some
So I do
revenge
teach
here?
ballet.
Is there some bitterness here? Some revenge here? How do you classify
Oh
your
man.
relationship to it as a teacher? Some corrections of the past's wrongs?
I do have some revenge in some ways that I can definitely talk about, but I
Revenge
will
is a
say,
hell
at
of a
least for
motivator.
ballet, oh yeah, I mean that's guided me throughout a lot of my life and is actually uh, something I do want to talk about. But I'll briefly mention that I teach mostly beginners and intermediate dancers right now. We're definitely a growing program at the community college, but it's been such an incredible experience, much more than I thought it would be, of teaching people that have either never had dance experience before, they're brand new to it, or maybe they've had a little bit. Like I have one student that did color guard, and then I have one student that's in her 60s and she's coming back to dance. But everyone is there in the studio doing it for the joy and the love of it. And that has helped me so much with reconnecting to my why. Like, why did I start doing this in the first place? Why has it been like that common thread throughout my life? And like that's defined me in a positive way, sometimes defined me in a negative way. But what is like the essence of dance, and why does it bring people so much joy and bring so much connection to each other? Like there's been quite a few studies about how dances has that power to help with mental health. I know there's a book called, I think it's called Your Brain on Art, that talks about it. But then also in the UK, some doctors have been prescribing dance classes for depression. And I remember when I first heard that, I laughed because I was like, well, that's ridiculous. Like dance is what made me depressed. How does it bring people so much joy? So I've definitely been on a journey of, over the past maybe 7 years of trying to figure out how it can bring joy. Which in a way is part of revenge, because people that tried to take that away from me, I'm reclaiming it.
What a perfect moment to pause, because we've got advertisers. We'll be right back. You got diets, workouts, endless advice. It is hard to know what actually works for weight loss and what's worth your time. That's why Hers offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications that now includes the Wegovy pill and the Wegovy pen. With Wegovy at Hers, lose up to 20% or more of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. Helps you regulate your appetite, eat less, and keep weight off. Plus, Wegovy's the first ever GLP-1 pill for weight loss, so there's no needles needed. Everything's 100% online through Hers. You'll connect with a licensed provider who will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, your medication's delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. And it doesn't stop there. Weight Loss by Hers goes beyond medication by offering access to 24/7 messaging with your care team and tons of in-app lifestyle and nutrition tips like recipes, meal plans, fitness videos, sleep content, and more. Even better, with a range of affordable GLP-1 options, Hers makes it simple to find an approach that fits your needs and your budget if eligible. You'll get a treatment plan personalized to you and unlimited dosage changes as needed. It's weight loss designed to work with your life. Ready to reach your goals? Visit forhers.com/beautiful to get personalized, affordable care that gets you. That's forhers.com/beautiful, forhers.com/beautiful. Weight Loss by Hers is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk AS. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study info, and restrictions, visit forhers.com. Oh my goodness, I have been getting into fashion lately. I've been doing a big fashion redo, and Quince has been a huge part of it. I'm going to tell you all about it, and this is 100% from the gut, real. I have a bunch of stuff going on lately. I got this fellowship. I've talked about it on the show. I want to dress nicer. I want to be prepped for this. But you want to look good, but you also want pieces that feel easy and comfortable. You want to look put together. Quince makes getting dressed simpler. Quince is my go-to. I'm wearing a hat that I got from Quince right now. I wear a coat every day that I got from Quince. I've got my 2 corduroy jackets from Quince. I've got so much more from Quince. I'll keep talking to you about it. The fabrics feel elevated. The fits are clean. Everything works without needing to overthink it. And the price is right. Quince has all the wardrobe staples for spring, 100% European linen shorts, and shirts from $34, lightweight, breathable, comfortable, look put together, and clean 100% Pima cotton tees with a softness that has to be felt. Linen pants that hit the same balance, relaxed and comfortable. All kinds of pants, actually. Pants that are still polished enough to wear pretty much anywhere. Everything's priced 50 to 80% less than what you'd find at similar brands. Quince works directly with ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen, so you're getting premium materials without the markup. Lately, things I've worn from Quince, I've got a linen jacket, I've got linen pants, I've got 3 tank tops from Quince in white, 3 more in black. I've got my cashmere hat. I've got my 2 corduroy jackets. These are all things that I've been putting together, mixing and matching, looking great. I'm in the Northeast where the weather changes fast, so I was wearing my Quince trench coat up through that, early spring. It's still pretty cold. Switched over to my corduroy jackets when I wanted a nice shirt underneath, maybe show a little tie under there. And now I've got my Quince linens busted out that have been in the closet for a little while. The jacket, the pants, the short sleeve linen shirt, and pretty much every day, including the very moment I'm recording this, I've got this cashmere hat from Quince. It looks awesome. I get compliments on it all the time. And in the heat, people are going, what are you wearing that hat for? Cashmere breathes, baby. You get to look fancy with something out here that's probably the most comfortable hat you could wear in the hot weather. It's great stuff. Shout out to Quince. They've been changing the game for me and a whole lot of other people. Be one of those people. Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/beautiful for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/beautiful for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/beautiful. This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious low-sugar brain and body fuel you need to win your day. That ultimate sampler pack is out there. It's a great way to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. I love this. I had an IQ Bar for breakfast this morning. You will not find a bigger fan of IQ Joe than my wife. IQ Joe is, of course, a mushroom coffee designed for mental clarity and packed with 200 milligrams of natural caffeine. Plus, it comes in 4 different flavors that will totally transform your morning routine. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their busy lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all 3. Like I said, I was running out the door this morning, realized that I hadn't eaten breakfast. I'm already on the go. Hallie says, do you want me to make you some? I said, nope, I got the perfect thing right here. Grab an IQ Bar, ate it. Quick, easy, healthy, tasted great, started my day easy. And for those of us with busy lifestyles, you cannot do better than IQ Bar. Also, throw a couple in your bag before you head to the office, before you get on a plane. You're going to be so thrilled that you have them. You will never get caught out there having to eat some processed nonsense when you have an IQ Bar within arm's reach. It's really great. And once again, my wife asked me to refill her IQ Joe stock recently. This is out of pocket. This is not something where they float it to me for free. We are active customers. IQ Joe, she absolutely loves her coffee sticks. And I never bring up my wife in an ad unless it's 100% absolutely unquestionably real, because she would never stand for that. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Text BEAUTIFUL to 64000. That's BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Thanks to everyone who advertises on the show. Now let's get back to the phone call.
People that tried to take that away from me, I'm reclaiming it.
I like this. My wife used to teach at an organization called the National Dance Institute, and I found them to be so inspiring. Her work with them was great. The organization is great. They send dance teachers into New York City public schools, and it's all entry. They have some signature moves that are just fun and easy that I could get up and do them today as a 45-year-old klutz. And you get to go see shows at the schools, and then the best kids from each school are invited to a citywide team that puts on a big gala each year. It was all founded by a ballet dancer named Jacques Dembois.
Yes, I worked with him before a long time ago.
Yes, he passed, but my understanding from my wife is that he was a very notable, badass, like apex performer of his generation of ballet dancers, and came from the Bronx. It's so funny because his name is Jacques Dembois, and I saw him speak at a few of these galas, and you expect a ballet dancer named Jacques Dembois to have a very French accent, and he's got a very Bronx accent. He was like a real Bronx guy. He gets up on stage.
It's a stage name.
And it was, I have to imagine. And, but this, I talked with my wife about this program, and it was really beautiful because she said, one of the things about dance is anyone can do it, and you can walk up the street and be proficient at it, and you can actually have any body type and go. And she pointed out in a New York City public school, some of the ways that these schools break down is you might have a middle school where a big portion of the kids are, multi-generation Manhattan Fifth Avenue families with a lot of money and a lot of legacy, and these kids will be going to private high schools, but they're going to public schools up until 7th or 8th grade. And in the same school, you might also have a portion of a largely Dominican immigrant community zoned for the same school. And you can start to see some of the inherent, some of these kids don't come from money at all, and they're comparing themselves to the kids that do. Some of these kids are smart kids, but their parents are off the boat immigrants who English is either a language they don't speak or they're still learning. They can't provide as much help with homework, or they can't buy the iPad that's helping some of the other kids academically. Point being, just the nature of life and the nature of how systems are built, there's some systemic challenges. And she said it was so amazing for her as a dance teacher to go in. And, if we're just speaking bluntly, these aren't my wife's exact words, but she would make it clear. You go into an environment like that where some kids are having a really, really tough time integrating into a school. But guess what? Not speaking in stereotypes, but as far as cultural celebration, a lot of those Dominican kids grew up extraordinarily comfortable with dance and with movement. And it's a part of family gatherings, and it's something that can spontaneously break out in their lives. Whereas, again, there's some stereotypes, but some truths of like Upper West Side waspy families are not necessarily known for throwing down at the party and just letting loose on the dance floor. This is not a culture. So all of a sudden you get to see, she said she had experiences with that with Dominican communities and in Chinatown with Chinese speaking students, that these kids who are in many ways struggling through some language barriers, through some cultural barriers, integrating into public schools, all of a sudden dance was the area where they got to be told, hey, actually, you're the best at a thing in school. Here's a thing in school that you're most comfortable at, you're excelling at, you're the best at. It doesn't matter if you're still learning the language. It doesn't matter if the way that
Because dance is the language.
Dance is a language. You speak better than these other kids. Congratulations. Go throw down and show them how it's done. And all of a sudden, you see kids who have a sense of encouragement, a sense of positivity, a sense of purpose. It was beautiful, really eye-opening to be around and witness. And really, with my relationship with comedy moving forward, really kind of changed a lot of how I thought about the arts in general when I saw dance. Because in my mind, dance was a highbrow art for fancy people, really up until I saw that program in action.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely faced that like economic divide. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I grew up in the suburbs, but we were kind of that family of like looking like we were keeping it together, but definitely had a lot of financial burdens. My dad struggled with keeping jobs, even though he was really brilliant. Like valedictorian of his high school, he could play any instrument that he picked up. Like, was in honors college, got a law degree, but my mom said that he was too nice to be a lawyer because he was just so generous of like doing a lot of work pro bono. And especially with all the cancer treatments, we didn't have very much at all. And then we ended up losing our insurance, and the only way that he could get treatment was by essentially being a guinea pig and doing experimental treatments because we couldn't afford it. And then the hospital bills that rolled in after he died were insane. And then I guess he didn't pay his taxes for a couple of years when he was sick because, you got a tumor in your brain, so your memory's not working as great. But the IRS tried to take our house, but we managed to sell it. It was just one thing after another. We really struggled for a long time. And luckily, the studio that I went at growing up said, hey, look, we won't charge you tuition because we know this is like what you want to do with your life. So I'm really so thankful for that.
That's really wild stuff to exist in an art form. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, good. You can still hear me. Something's going wrong.
Yes.
Andrea, just so you know, something's going wrong with my computer, but we'll figure that out as long as we're still recording. Andrea, give me that thumbs up. To exist in an art form that everyone perceives as the domain of the fancy, and then you're here going, I got a sick dad and a bank trying to chase down our house, and then I have to go on stage and exist in this world where rich people want me to look perfect all the time for their ticket buying pleasure. Psychologically, that must have done a real number.
Yeah, for sure. I went to a like really dark place and was very quiet. This was like the days where of emo days, or back when kids used to say, I'm not emo, but now everyone is like, oh, I'm the elder emo. But I really like played into that, and like wore black all the time, and just kind of like tried to blend into the walls. But dance was always there for me. And I'm glad that I can provide that for students too, to have something that they can go to. I also teach dual credit classes at a high school, and I'm in Texas, and the population of this high school is predominantly Latin, Hispanic, and a lot of those students wouldn't be able to afford going to dance classes, but I can go in and teach them dance history, and I can teach them for a variety of cultures. And then I can also teach them ballet, which those lessons are super expensive, but they don't have to pay for these, or they pay very little for community college. So yeah, it feels really good to be giving back in that way. But I have a question. How much time do we have left?
26 minutes.
Cool. Great. Because I want to kind of segue a little bit to more of what I called in to talk about.
Oh, you didn't even call in to talk about dance. And for 34 minutes, you've been intriguing. I just want to close out the thought and say kudos to you.
I could literally talk about dance forever.
Well, I just also want to say, I want to say kudos to you. I have this distinct feeling, first of all, we got to say this, the arts are under attack right now. You look at the Kennedy Center, you look at them canceling Colbert, trying to cancel Kimmel for the second time. I'm like, they're attacking the arts, man. Defunding PBS, defunding NPR. I'm like, this is crazy stuff. But I also think, so I so firmly believe that I am not blowing smoke in any way when I say, in a world where algorithms are altering the actual way we interact with reality, everyone is scared about AI and this idea that it's this looming thing that's going to take jobs away. Well, guess what? The thing that will help us all keep our heads on our shoulders, feel sane, and remind each other of the vitality of why you want to be alive is the feeling of human connection. And the arts is what gives us that. The arts is built every
100%.
Comedy, dance, you and I do those, and this extends to music, this extends to film. You look at the arts, and what they all have in common is they connect people with other people. They allow you to feel emotions in a public place while other people are feeling their version of those emotions. They give you things to talk about regarding your own humanity. So hearing that you're closing out this stretch on the arts by saying that you're like, no, I want to get in here and teach people. I want to make it something where there's less barriers to it. I want people to feel empowered by it. I go, it's exactly where my head's at in regards to comedy, and I think it's exactly what we need. I think the arts are going to be one of the things that help us navigate whatever the hell is happening right now. And I hope this AI stuff is kind of an overblown fad, but everyone seems scared and skittish about what's coming, and it's the arts and artists like you that are, I think, already doing the type of work that's going to help us weather the storm.
Yeah. I think dance has such a unique power to combat that. I'll go like a little bit into my research and then I'll talk about how that came about. But I looked in my MFA, I looked a lot at what's called kinesthetic empathy. And it's a pretty simple concept, but it's by viewing someone else's movement, you develop an empathetic understanding of them. And I, in my own choreography, that's a main goal, is like, how can I increase this kinesthetic empathy? How can the choreography go to this deeper level to connect with the audience? So I looked a lot at trauma studies and the model of trauma studies, which is testimony and witness, and using this kind of model of doing a testimonial dance, seeing if I can increase that kinesthetic empathy. And a lot of that movement, I developed this guided improvisational studio practice that I guide dancers through, and then I kind of pull from the movement that I observed to create a piece. But that comes from my experience. I don't do therapy in the session. I'm not a therapist, and so I'm like very adamant on making everything as ethical as possible. But EMDR that I got for trauma therapy changed my life in the way that I felt connected to my body in a way that I never have before, even though I've been dancing since I was like 4 years old. I'd never felt this connection before, and I wanted to figure out like how I could feel that in dance and how I could share that with other people.
Beautiful. Well done. Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
keep forcing the dance issue, so we've got 22 minutes left. You said you did want to transition into
We
what
can
you
do it.
actually called to talk about, which I'm
Yes.
shocked to
Let's
hear
do
that
it.
it was not this. Once again, let's pause. We'll be right back. I am so happy to be telling you about Zenni Optical. I have been a customer for so many years. Every pair of glasses you have seen me wear since the start of this show has been a Zenni Optical pair of glasses. And we all know, you think about your glasses situation, the sides start to get a little loose. Those screws are starting to go up. You're getting out that little glasses screwdriver kit, seeing if you can save them. Those things are getting lost. It's very stressful. And even in modern day times, in 2026, replacing your glasses can feel like such a production. A lot of people just live with their busted glasses. You got to schedule appointments, pay a ton, and then wait. On top of that, Zenni Optical fixes all of that. That's why I've been using them for years. They make it so simple, so easy, and the cost of their glasses, I have to tell you, I was shocked to realize how affordable these glasses could be compared to the price gouging that I had experienced, let's be honest, earlier in my life. It's wild. Zenni is an online eyewear shop. Prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to zenni.com. That's Zenni.com. You pick a frame, upload your prescription, they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And at that price, something kind of shifts. You stop asking, do I really need new glasses? You start going, why don't I just go get them? You wind up with these glasses that are constantly sliding down your face. You're pushing them around. You're going, I don't want to go and have that stressful experience. No, it's not. You have been given the keys, my friends, to a stress-free glasses experience. Okay? Go get the ones that work. Go get a pair of prescription sunglasses because your glasses are now cheap enough you can supplement it. Get one that just you want to have you want the one that you wear at work, and you want the one that you wear when you want to look cool when you're out like driving around and stuff. It's the best. At under $30, you don't need to justify this or stress about it. There's over 150,000 five-star reviews, and if you've never bought glasses online before, Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly how a frame looks on your face before you commit. I'm telling you, I discovered Zenni Optical years ago. They've been a lifesaver. It's not at all an exaggeration. Every pair of glasses you've ever seen me wear, Zenni Optical, they've had my back for years. The process is so simple, so easy, and financially, they are removing so much stress. They're putting money back in your pocket while removing stress from your life. This company is the best. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time. Go to zenni.com/podcast. Use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles do sell out, so don't sit around and wait too long. That's zenni.com/podcast. Promo code is podcast15. Life comes at you fast. I don't know if I'm the only one, but things have felt busy lately. My voice always sounds like this no matter what I do. The past 3 weeks, I've been running in 10 different directions, and every single thing ends, and I got somewhere else to be. Anybody else feel like that? That you got work, you got relationships, you got your home life, you got so much on your plate. You want to know that you can show up when it counts, and that includes the bedroom. Let's be honest. If things aren't working the way they used to, you don't have to accept it. Rougiette has treatments that can help you get hard, stay hard, and last as long as you want. Whether it's occasional trouble or something that's been building for a while, their doctors work with you to find what fits your body. Their best-selling treatment, Rougiette Ready, combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 minty dose that dissolves under your tongue. It increases blood flow and primes your brain for arousal so you're ready physically and mentally. Most men are good to go in about 15 minutes with effects lasting up to 36 hours. And if timing is your issue, Rougiette has Go Long, a 2-in-1 treatment that helps you get hard and stay in control of when you finish. Over 400,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiette. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a board-certified doctor online. treatment ships discreetly to your door. I want to say thanks to Rougiette for advertising with us for 10 years. I have listened to other podcasts in this space, and my last name spells Gethard. I have long thought that this would be a match made in heaven, and I think it's absolutely perfect. And I'm so to be out here helping people's sexual health. What a beautiful thing. And also for our many listeners who are not men, help out your partners. Have gentle conversations. Recommend Rougiette. Let them know that help is on the way and that this side of the sex life can come right back to life as soon as they want. And make it part of your couple speech. Dare I say, there's something really passionate, maybe even sexy about that. Head to rougiette.com/beautiful. You'll get 15% off your ED treatment. That's RUGIET.com/beautiful for 15% off. Rougiette, performance medicine for men. Thanks to all of our advertisers. Now, let's finish the phone call. Now, I don't want to keep forcing the dance issue, so we've got 22 minutes left. You said you did want to transition into what you actually called to talk about, which I'm shocked to hear that it was not this.
It is related, because I think dance is related to everything in my life, but it ties very much into the research. So, but I will say, I called in a couple months ago for the anniversary episode, and I got all the way to talking to Andrea, but I didn't get through, which is totally fine. The call that did go through was really incredible, and I loved listening to the story of a fellow Houstonian. But I called in that day because I also have a 10-year anniversary that was the weekend before Beautiful Anonymous premiered.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a little bit more of a connection. So I heard Beautiful Anonymous, like a lot of people, on This American Life. And what really caught my attention is that the caller, Ron Paul's baby, was from Denton. And I spent a significant time over the course of 5 years in Denton. I never lived there. And that's where my event took place, my anniversary event. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that.
Okay. I'm all ears.
All right. All right. So on this particular weekend, I was living in Houston at the time, in the suburbs. Not the suburb I grew up in, but one that my mom moved to when she got remarried. And I was working in Houston at a fitness studio and at a dance studio, and just constantly moving. But I had a boyfriend at the time. We started dating when we were 19, and I guess I was 24 at this point. I just graduated college the year prior, but I was going up. This was the weekend right before spring break that I managed to get off to go to a music festival in Denton. It was called 35 Denton. It was kind of like a stopping point for artists before they went to South by Southwest. So lots of small bands, local bands, some from out of town, playing at various venues throughout Denton. And I think it's kind of funny, but do you know who Biz Markie is?
Of course I know who Biz Markie is. Oh, baby, you got what I need. And you say he's just a friend.
Exactly. He was the headliner that year. That part of the memory still cracks me up. But yeah, I went up that weekend, drove up through the crazy traffic on 45. I don't know if you've ever driven in Texas, but it is not for the weak, to say the least. But yeah, I drove up, and that evening we went out pretty late to some shows, and this was like early days of Uber, and especially like in smaller towns, no one really took them, so everyone was still designated drivers. And so my boyfriend drove. He also pretty much always drove because he said I was a terrible driver. So he often like drove my car for me. But yeah, that night, so he was designated driver and I was drinking and we were out pretty late. I don't have too many memories from that night, but I remember it being like maybe 1:00 in the morning. We were at the final venue that we went to, and I was definitely in like a grooving vibe, but also half falling asleep. The next memory that I have is in the morning, waking up, the sun's like shining through the window. And I am on the wall side of the bed, because he would press his bed up against the wall, and he always slept against the wall for some reason. I think maybe he fell off the bed as a kid or something. Can't quite remember, but I'm on that side of the bed and he's on the other side, and he wakes up and stretches and looks at the floor and laughs, and he picks up sorry, the geese on campus are going crazy now. He reaches over and he picks up a condom wrapper, and he laughs and he says like, "Oh, I almost forgot to put one on last night." And then I look at him, I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, "Yeah, like when we had sex last night." And I said, "We didn't have sex last night." And he said, "What? Yeah, we did." And I said, "Well, I don't remember." And he immediately like got up from the bed and started pacing the room. And I tried to kind of like get up after him. But then he went back down and sat on the bed and just like put his head in his hands and was bouncing his leg up and down and like saying things like, you know, "But you were moaning." And he wouldn't look at me. He looked like he looked disgusted with me. And but I was trying to comfort him. Like I put my arm around him and said like, "It's okay, you know, it was an accident and you love me, we're dating. It's fine." And that's kind of like where the memory cuts off. And I will say that wasn't like the first time something like that has happened, or happened. There were lots of issues prior with coercion, of waking up in the middle of the night, and him basically like being on top of me and me saying like, "No, I want to go back to sleep, I'm tired." And like I very distinctly remember one time he said like, "I'm almost there, you don't have to do anything, you can just lie there." So very used to going into like a dissociated state with intimacy, but those times never were brought up again. And I just kind of pushed them out of my memory. I forgot that they even happened. We only dated about 6 months longer after that. It just kind of went downhill. But about a year and a half later, I started having really debilitating flashbacks from that. And I also have bipolar disorder, and at that point I wasn't on medication, and it was like sending me through rapid cycling of ups and downs. But I was really adamant on not going to therapy because my ex, at the time that this happened, he was in grad school for psychology, and he's now a clinical psychologist. Yeah, so it took me until that happened in 2016. So it took me until 2020 to go to therapy, and the only reason I went is because my best friend said, hey, you should try this thing called EMDR. It's not like talk therapy, which had never worked for her before, but this worked. And a relationship I was in at that time was also falling apart. So I said, well, there's nothing else happening in my life right now because the world's on fire. So I guess I'm going to go to therapy. And changed my life. And it led to the MFA research.
To the what?
So yeah, my MFA research, my Master's of Fine Arts research.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry you went through any of that. That's horrible.
Yeah, it took a while to get through, and it took a while to like accept that something like that couldn't be an accident, that people are very much aware of what they're doing in a situation like that, especially if they've done it before. And that it wasn't my fault. But I talk about it quite a bit, and I don't have a problem talking about it either, because I think it's an issue that is actually really common, but people have kind of normalized it because it is it's not a situation of someone jumping out of, a back alley or a bush and attacking you. Like, it's someone that you share a bed with frequently and that you feel like you can trust. But I hope that more people that have been in situations like this that don't fully understand what's happening, or they feel like they are kind of trapped, that they know that they're not alone, and they can talk about it if they choose to, and that there is some brightness on the other side. Like I said, my research would not exist had this thing not happened to me.
And is this the research related to kinesthetic empathy?
Yeah, exactly. And basically, through this guided improvisational practice, I lead the dancers into remembering. At first, I started with an emotional memory. So they picture that memory in their mind. And we do some bilateral stimulation, but then they respond to that memory through movement. So in EMDR, the practitioner will ask, what do you notice? And then you respond verbally. But I'll say, what do you notice? And they respond through movement. So it does become this very testimonial movement language that once I kind of like pull that out and reorganize and cut and splice and all that sort of thing, it turns into this really powerful piece of giving a testimony without explicitly saying what a trauma is.
It really jumped out when you said, this wasn't the first time that something like this had happened before, and we only dated for 6 months. Where you go, oh, this is not...
6 months after that, but yeah.
Oh, 6 months
we
after
dated
that.
for 5 years.
Oh, for 5 years. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So this, when you asked about revenge stuff, this is like my way of revenge, I guess, because I can't report it. It's been 10 years, and that's like the statute of limitation in Texas. And I don't have any proof. And someone like him, who is a clinical psychologist, I think, I have not kept up with him, but I think associated with an Ivy League hospital, could probably destroy my life if I were to do anything. So yeah, I never will like go that route, or I might go a route more creatively. With that, I'm also a writer, so at some point I'm going to write about it. I'm a creative writer, creative nonfiction and poetry, but yeah, this is my way of finding the light from the darkness. I like to quote this Mary Oliver poem. It's called The Uses of Sorrow. And it goes in parentheses, in my sleep, I dreamed this poem, close parentheses. Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It was only later that I realized this too was a gift. Yeah, I love that poem so much. I got a visual representation of it tattooed on my arm. Got some boxes.
Yeah. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah. Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It was only later, pretty sure that's how it goes, that I realized this too was a gift.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah. Mary Oliver was incredible.
Poetry, another highbrow art that I didn't expect to be discussing today.
Yes. But she made it very accessible to people if you haven't read Mary Oliver. Wild Geese is a great poem.
That's wild. I mean, so you're when you were talking about revenge before, I'm going, oh, you're not just you're not just out to get revenge on the dance infrastructure world. You're out to get revenge on one dude in particular.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's some dance teachers too that like, it does feel good to like, I made it sort of. And even like an English teacher that I had in high school that said, oh, wants to be, oh, sorry, you can bleep my name out.
Yeah.
Thanks. They want to be a ballerina dancer, which is obviously not how you say it, ballet dancer, but, and just saying in a very condescending way. And now I have a whole master's degree in dance, where I wrote a 21,000 word thesis for and created a 40-minute dance piece. So.
Yeah, that's a good one to get back to that teacher. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm a little ballerina dancer now. You want to read my 21,000 word breakdown of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so you're pretty chill vibe wise, but you're getting revenge on literally everyone.
Yeah, it was a long process to do it, but I'm definitely someone in it for the end game. I unfortunately hold grudges a bit too long, and I'm neurodivergent and have quite a bit of justice sensitivity for others and for myself. So, yeah, revenge, more in a positive light, I guess, tends to guide my life, I guess.
I think well earned. Sometimes revenge is a thing that you encourage people to let go of, but in your case, I would say, no, let's stick with it for a while. Let's stick with it for at least a little while more. There's a lot of things to be angry about.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
sure.
And to not give up on dance too. When people told me I should quit a long time ago, but now I'm redirecting it. Like maybe I wasn't meant to have a performance career. Maybe I was meant to do more in terms of education and creation and research. Been doing a lot of work in therapy on reframing things. So
I'm sure. You and me both. We're gonna have to give people a heads up at the beginning of this episode that these topics are being discussed, and I'm wondering, in light of that, if there's, as a survivor, and I don't want to put you on the spot, and it might be the type of thing that you go, oh, I don't know, I'm just reacting in the minute, but, in the moment, and who can even say, but I'm wondering, to other people who are survivors or other people who are still reconciling what happened, to other people who haven't hit that point where they're ready to think about it. You have any thoughts for them? Because I know there's a sad amount listening.
Yeah. Um, I will say that um, it is something that is going to be a part of you forever. I mean, it physically affected your body. It definitely affected you mentally. But it's not something that has to take over your life. There's this really great song by an artist called Hooray for the Riff Raff, and it's called Saga. They sing about not wanting something to be the saga of their life, and it doesn't have to be. This doesn't have to be the saga of your life. Like, you have control over the amount that it controls you. And when you process it and work through it with the help of someone, a professional, then they can help you see it more from an objective standpoint. Like, now I'm able to talk about it and not get triggered. And I'm able to be really open about the experience and be happy to be open about it, because I see it as an event. Like, it's something bad that happened in my life, but that's all it is. It's not me. It's something that happened to me. So I think not trying to block it out of your memory, not trying to, push it away from your thoughts, but letting it exist there. Like they talk about in EMDR, of putting your memory in a box and closing it and keeping it somewhere safe when no one can touch it, but you can access it at any point. So if you think of your event like that, it's right there, it's safe, it's contained, and I don't have to go to it. But if I want to go to it, it's there.
You know what's amazing about that is none of that was like theoretical cheerleading other people. It was like, here's some practical ways to start thinking about this stuff for you, in your service of others. That's remarkable.
Yeah, I think sometimes it can be helpful to say, like, you're not alone and it gets better. And those things can definitely be true. But you also you can't wait for it to get better. You have to do the work, and it's going to suck and it's going to be really hard, but it will be worth it.
I mean, our time just finished. We literally hit 0 right after you said it will be worth it. And I can't think of a more inspiring place to say goodbye to the people on the free feed. That was a heck of a call.
Incredible.
I did not see that deep into the call. I didn't see that coming. And most of all, I just want to say, I wish there was more to be said. I don't want to come off as schmaltzy, but you lived through a bunch of stuff that nobody should have ever had to face. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through it.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. But yeah, I'm just thankful that I'm in a good place now. Like, I'm not in a perfect place, but I'm in a place where, like, I actually see a future. And I made it past 27. I made it past 33. Like, just keep going upwards.
Keep instilling young people with the beauty and the possibility of art and connection, and using movement to learn about one another's experiences, and keep fighting back against these looming powers that have tried to keep you down.
Exactly. And, keep the arts alive, whether that's dance, music, comedy. Like, they're all important and they all have value, and the robots cannot replace that. They cannot replace humanity. I'm a firm believer in that.
They're more important than they've ever been. Go out. Everybody go out. I mean, how do you feel never mind. You know what? I've got a good question for you. We're gonna go behind the paywall. It's gonna take about 15, 20 minutes. We're gonna ask you 5
Yeah, that's
questions.
cool.
But I'm gonna start with a question that comes from my gut that I think you're gonna enjoy. So let's say goodbye to everybody on the free feed.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Caller, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing with us about your profession. And then thank you for opening up and sharing with me about your past and about your trauma. And I think the fact that you shared is going to mean other people out there will feel emboldened to take control of their own stories. It's always a beautiful thing. And thank you so much for your openness and your honesty. Thank you to Andrea Quinn for producing the show. Thank you to Shell Shag for our music. We're on Instagram. There's a Facebook group. You can sign up for more stuff at beautifulanonymous.com, which is the best way to support the show. And hey, we're out here. Tell people to listen. Word of mouth, it's the greatest form of advertising. Thanks, everybody. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions. Oh, Andrea's just saying for my birthday episode, it should only be calls from people who want it. That's Andrea. You're a brilliant genius, and this is why you're my friend. Everybody, we're announcing it right now. For my birthday, we're going to do a birthday episode that everyone gets 2 minutes to call in and talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender. And if you call about anything else, Andrea will hang out. It doesn't matter what else it is. We're doing it, Andrea. Don't let me forget. We have to do it. Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.